Welcome to Fiscal Voyage. I'm Felix, and today's video day trading journal, November 25th, 2025. So I'm gonna go off here what I was looking at. First, I took two trades in the day: QQQ, which was about a 0.8R loss, and IWM, which was almost a full winner. So I'm up $94 for the day in the day trade. So IWM winner was bigger than the QQQ loser, and I go over why I took the trades. So first off, we want to go over previous day high and low. So we mark it here. You can see here the QQQ low and high yesterday, November 24th. So then after that, just wait for the pre-market. It plots the pre-market range. You can see here, there, and here. And then what I wait for is the 15-minute close on the under the pre-market or above the pre-market or above the previous day high. So there's kind of confirmation that it's in the out of the zone or whatnot. So if it closed under the pre-market, my target will be low of day yesterday, which actually kind of got there. However, there wasn't really a play because the 15-minute close was around here. So this was the 15-minute close. So it was actually a big move down. Now, if I wasn't waiting for the 15-minute, the trade would have been right here. Once the 2-minute closed here, right in there with a stop over this topping wick with this moving average spreading out. So with the downtrend confirmed, and it broke this 5-minute 200 EMA. You can see here how it touched it right there. It bounced, and then it finally broke it. But again, you gotta wait for it to close. But if you wanted to be very aggressive, it would have been under this 2-minute bar with a stop above here, around here, and that would have hit target easily. So then my next thing was I was waiting for is a pullback into the 5-minute 13 EMA. We had a strong pullback, but then when the bar closes above, for example, in this case, above the 13 2-minute EMA, I have to wait for it to close under the 13-minute or the 2-minute 13 EMA. To then get in, because that way the trend is still heading lower. But it hit the 15-minute 13 EMA and then just crashed down hard. The perfect example would be Tesla. Tesla kind of did the same thing. You can see here, this is the high previous day, the low previous day, and you got the pre-market. It came here, and then you see this bar here in the 2-minute. So it hit the pre-market low as well as the 13 EMA on the 5-minute, and then it closed under the 2-minute 13 EMA. So my entry, for example, would have been like this. This would have been, if I was looking at this, my entry would have been something like, hold on, let me get the stop here, kind of like right there, my stop right there, and it would have probably been a break-even trade as it went to 0.8R. So around 0.8R, I go break-even. Minus 2 pennies or so, because I don't want to be tagged right on break even. So I'll take a couple $1 loss just so that it doesn't tag me at break even and goes. I've had that happen a few times. That's why I don't move it to 100% break even. I move it maybe a few pennies away from break even so that it gives a little more room. But this would have probably been a break even trade. But then the next following trade would probably been somewhere here. But I was looking at the QQQ. Something here. So I was, after this break here in the 2-minute, had my entry order here with my stop here. It never triggered, and then once it broke the 2-minute, that basically resets. I had to wait for it to close under the 2-minute again. So then it closed under the 2-minute here, so then my entry is kind of like right under there, but it never triggered as well. So then that was a good no trade basically. Followed my plan 100% here. It didn't trade, it didn't go lower under here because I have my entry right here with my stop like right there, expecting it a move lower, and you can see how it kind of did a bear flag, more or less like right there. So it break under here, stop there, should take it lower. So that was kind of the game plan there, but it never triggered down here, so no trade there. And then eventually, it took over the 13 EMA and the 50 EMA on the 2 minutes, as well as the 5 minutes here, but still the 10-minute, it closed over here, here, and here. So now when that happened, I have to wait for for the 10-minute as well the 5-minute to close under the EMAs. That way I confirm that it's on downtrend. So we got this bar here. You can see here the 5-minute closed very nicely, the 10-minute closed very nicely, the 15-minute is still there on the 13 EMA and the 8 EMA on the 15, so everything looks good. So I put my order here. So this was my entry order here with my stop kind of like right there, or actually right here in the line. And so basically my 2-hour target was kind of like around this area here. But my problem is, you see here the 2-minute 13 EMA is over the 50-minute or the 50 EMA on the 2 minutes. So that means the trend is changing. So I should have waited for maybe like a dip lower. This crosses and then it pulls back, and there's my entry around here with this cross. So that confirmation would have saved me this trade. Or if it did break down, wait for a pullback and then take it lower, and that would have been the entry there. But I wasn't thinking of this at the time, so this is why I create these videos, so I go walk through and think of my thought process. So next time, just make sure we have the EMA's trend on the downside, so that this cross, because basically if this crosses, that means this, the bulls are taking over. But once it crosses back, the bears took control. It breaks a little bit. We get a pullback around here or so, or maybe even down here. But this cross, the 5 minutes looks good, the 10, the 15, so take it lower, right? So that's kind of the game plan there. So you can see here, I lost 172. We go to QQQ here, right here, 1110, 45 is the entry and the exit. So 1110, which is like right here. You can see here in this bar I got in, and then just kind of consolidate there, and then just went higher. So that was a full stop, or the full stop would have been $200 loss. It was 172, which is about a 0.8R loss. IWM now. So IWM is a trade. It was a very good trade. You can see here I had this marked, the previous day high and low marked, and then we have this zone as well. And this zone came from this day, which was November 13. So we got it here. We got the high of November 13, which you can see here, strong seller at this point. And so that was this zone. So the IWM got over the pre-market. It went back down to previous day high, retested the previous day high, and then it ripped to that zone, but then it fumbled around, and then we have a bull flag right here, which is very nice, and it went higher. But again, I have to wait for the 15 minutes to close above the zone, especially if it hit a zone. Now I have to wait for it to close above or under the zone. So in this case, above the zone. So it did. So I wait for a pullback to the 5 minute. So it did a pullback. So we close 15 minute above the zone. Wait for the 5 minute 13 MA to kind of hit. So I got in right here because it was close enough to the 5 minutes 13 MA. We got this bar to close over the 13 EMA, so that means the move continues to go higher. So this is what's my entry here with a stop around here. It pulled back for the past 2, 4, 6, 8 minutes, and then gave me a nice green bar. So here I actually added more shares above this bar and moved my stop a little closer, and that way my target moved a little closer as well. So that was a good move there because the 5 minute EMA was moving. So I tend to have my stop like maybe 10 cents or so below the 5 minute EMA, the 13 EMA on the 5 minute. So I moved my stop to that area, so it moved up a little bit, and my targets moved down a little bit. So that was good. So then it fumbled around here, and then it went higher, hit my 1R target. Fumbled around. This could have easily been a stop. It went a little lower because my entry was around 243.19 or so, 18. But it didn't. It picked up, and then it hit my target. You can see here it's continued to go higher. So that was kind of my trade there for IWM. We go here, IWM 267. So we got 267 in profit minus the 172. So 90, like a half hour winner day today, which could have been a nice day if I didn't take the QQQ. If I was looking at the 2-minute EMAs here and see how it crossed over and didn't cross back down, confirmation that the trend is still down. So that's kind of was my mistake there. So learning mistake there. So those were the two trades that I took today, IWM and QQQ. Half hour, a little less than half hour, maybe like 4.5 hour winner today. That's kind of like my trade. You can see here SPY's having a breakout as well, and another trade on SPY could have been, you see here 15-minute close. Well, it closed here, but the 5-minute was too far. You can see here, so it's too far, so it closes back down. So when that happens, I have to wait for a reconfirmation and a close above. So we got to close above, and a good entry for this one with a positive. Let me see when it closes. It closes here, so around here. So anywhere here or so with a stop, maybe under this 5-minute would have been a good entry, and that would have been a winner as well. But since I was already in IWM and I took a loss earlier, and I was waiting for IWM to close out to see what happens, didn't take this trade. It was kind of like IWM needs to hit target or just go back to my break even, and it would have been a losing day, about 0.3 hour loss today if it hit my 1 hour target, which it did, and then pull back to break even and stop me out. So it would have been like maybe a 0.4 hour loss, but it continued higher and it got me a nice win, and it was a 0.4 hour or so winning day today. So that was my trade today. Anything else? Tesla, nothing there. This was actually a possible play here, but the 5-minute needed to close, and then if it did close, I would have to wait for a pullback to the 13 EMA on the 2-minute to kind of give me confirmation, because this was a nice bear flag as well. You can see here, bear flag breaks, but it didn't work out. Same thing with the QQQ. This is why confirmation is so important. You know, it has this nice red bar. It's nice to at least get it to the 13 EMA on the 2-minute, and then if it, for example, if this was the trade, wait for this green bar, entry would be under here, under the green bar, and then a stop kind of like right there would have been a stop, and then you take it lower. That would have probably been the trade there if it were to continue lower. But again, during this time I was in QQQ and IWM. So that was my trades. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for tomorrow's review. I'm not sure if I'm gonna trade. Let me see. It had to be a pretty A+ setup. QQQ was not A+, but IWM was. Very nice A+ setup here. The 2-minute, 13 EMA, and the 50-minute. The 50 EMA were spreading out. The 5-minute was spreading out. The 10-minute was spreading out. The 15-minute was spreading out. So that's a good trend, and a good indicator for a trend. So those were my two trades. Tomorrow, I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to make sure it's an A+ setup if I'm gonna take a trade, and that'll be it. So thank you for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for tomorrow's video. If I don't post a video tomorrow, that means I didn't take a trade. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Take care.